This podcast is a B-Side Collections production. Fertility ain't fair.
That's right.
So let's talk about it. Real, raw, unfiltered, with me, your friend in fertility. Hey, I am your host, Britt, and you are tuned in to another episode of Fertility Ain't Fair, the podcast. Welcome back. Look, I will not take too long on this intro. On this episode, as you will see, it is entitled, Until Further Notice, Celebrate Everything. Yes. We want to celebrate our first IVF cycle starting. We want to celebrate what the body is doing. We want to celebrate every little win that we're getting along this very short but long journey, to be honest with you. And so join me and my husband on this episode to give you the breakdown and rundown on all things happening in our world. We're also talking about, as I mentioned, celebrating everything. So please take that to heart as you're going through your journeys. And also, we are getting in the know about Menstrual Hygiene Day. I wasn't even aware this was a day until recently. So May 28th, we'll give you some information to, put out there, put it in your brain, and, just be proud of what the body is doing. So without further ado, let's get on into this episode of Fertility Ain't Fair. Welcome back to another episode of Fertility Ain't Fair. I am your host, Britt, and this episode is really just another update. I felt like the last time we chatted, my husband and I were talking about starting our IVF journey, and so we did it, y'all. We started, and he is here joining us again on the pod. Welcome back to the show, the one, the only, Bo Jackson.
Yo, what up, fertility followers or Fertility Ain't Fair followers? The FAF.
It's the FAF crew.
The FAFFs.
Gang,
That's what I call y'all, man. Gang. Yeah, ovary gang. You know what I mean?
Gang, endo gang,
egg gang, whatever. IVF gang, IUF gang, IUI. Yep. All the alphabets.
Yep. Because if you know one thing, it's a lot of acronyms up in here.
Straight up. I don't know about that.
So I'll just start by saying, if you are new to our community, welcome. We are absolutely a community that recognizes that all fertility is not created equal. And guess what? It just ain't fair. And so I welcome you to our safe space to be real, to be raw and transparent as we learn, heal, and grow together. I know every episode that we have, guest or not, that I learned something new. And so it has really been a blessing to be able to share that knowledge or learn something with you guys. So if you are new, welcome. And if you are not new, welcome back to Fertility Ain't Fair, because you already know what happens here. So as mentioned, we did start our first IVF cycle. And if you follow on social media, if you don't, make sure you do, at Fertility Ain't Fair on IG and Facebook. You will see some update reels on, going in for our baseline, our first monitoring appointment, our second, our third, and where we are today. And we'll get into all those details in a few. But it has been an interesting journey thus far. It was a lot of back and forth to get to this point of just starting. And then it's, getting all the meds and laying those out and like taking a deep breath because you've probably waited a while to get to this point, and then it's here. And then getting that first green light to kind of start this whole process of injectables. It's been crazy, y'all. So we'll get into it a little bit. But first and foremost, I want to jump into our first segment, which is WTF. And that is What the Fertility.
Boom.
Yes. And on this segment, we will be always sharing a worthy article, a story, or a factoid that made me or us or someone in our circle go, what the
fertility?
Fill in the blank. Because sometimes it's what the F and sometimes it's what the fertility. But anyway, that's what we're going to get into first. So let's go ahead and jump in. So I think it was a couple weeks ago, and I don't know how this article came to my life. I forgot. I don't know if it was sent to me or I saw it. I think I might have saw on social media.
It's the foreign one, right?
Yeah, it was on Daily Mail. I believe they're a UK or I think they're a UK based press. I should probably know that, but I think it's UK based.
Europe based.
Sure, yeah.
Euros.
It's not here.
For our Euro followers.
Yeah, it's not
all
here.
All 1.5 of you.
We have a couple. And I'll just give you guys first and foremost the headline, which is modern couples looking to start a family are turning to IVF because they are too busy for sex, experts reveal. Okay. That's the headline.
Too busy to get busy, y'all.
Too busy to have sex. All right. A couple of the key takeaways on the top of the article are as follows. Couples are advised to try to have sex every 3 days to optimize their chances. The pressure of always being, quote, available has left many feeling with having flagging, aka lagging libidos. And experts fear that spare time they do have is often spent watching Netflix. So this article is telling us.
So they all Netflix and no chill, huh? They just binging
they
all
Netflix
the shows.
And chill. They not. Well, they chilling. They ain't chilling.
You know what I mean?
They legit chilling.
Legit chilling.
They falling asleep.
Netflix and falling asleep.
They falling
asleep.
That's
what it sounds like.
It's Netflix and sleep for me. And this is saying that modern couples wanting a baby are turning to IVF, not because they're infertile, y'all. Not because they're infertile, because they are too busy to have sex. So couples are being advised, I'm not sure by who, to try and have sex every 3 days, and then it's too much pressure. And so now it's a British couple. Yes, so I was right. It was a UK-based article. They're turning to fertility treatments they do not need simply because they do not have sex often enough to conceive naturally.
I got a lot of questions. You know why? Because in the last 2 weeks, we've had to coordinate our schedules in order to get these medications and stuff, right? So how are they going to fulfill IVF, which is a timely medicinal process, right?
I don't know.
And you can't even just basically do the basic foundation of a marriage.
This is lazy. This is lazy.
Well, I don't know everybody. I don't want to jump the gun because I always say I don't like people talk about my marriage, you know, all the details. So I'm going to assume that these folks are just too busy. Because you brought up a couple of things in the beginning that it could have been like lacking libido. It could have, you know, we don't know how old they are. These could be older people, you know, or older gentlemen or older young ladies. It's not giving us, I'm just saying, it's not giving us ages. I'm just trying to add some context.
Let me check.
You feel me? I don't like jumping the gun too much, but I agree that this is a good topic.
Here's the thing. My thing is that whenever you are electing yourself, you're raising your hand to say, okay, I want to do a fertility treatment when you don't actually need it. What luxury that is for you. It actually made me really pissed off when I first read it, and I had to put it down for a little bit because I was just like, that is a luxury that we just don't have. To say, oh, I'm just going to casually pay for and start IVF because I am too busy to do it the natural way when I don't have any medical conditions telling me that I need to do this. So many questions. One, y'all can afford to do IVF when you feel like it? Number two, are you convinced that it's a guarantee to have a child? Because it's not. FYI. Number three, I didn't even realize you can just elect yourself to do this.
Yeah, that's bizarre too. I thought you had this.
I never thought about it, I guess. I don't know. Like, I couldn't imagine walking into a fertility clinic and being like, hey, I'm fine, but I really want to do IVF and I can pay for it because I'm just
That's where I had questions
busy.
at, because, all right, in our journey,
What?
question, because, we ended up where we're at right now because we've done several different steps to end up here.
Right.
So you
we
flash
were
back.
referred.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Hear me out. So, but a couple of years ago, we did, I'm terrible with the alphabets, forgive me, IUI. So I'm like, why?
But prior to that, we did other stuff too.
Right, we did other stuff. So I'm like, how do they jump the gun? They didn't say that they have a natural fertility issue on the male or female, right?
No.
So that's why I'm puzzled. So why don't they just do, what I call the turkey-based process, where, they just kind of, he put it in a cup and then she meets up later and then the doctor puts it in there. Like, how do they get to IVF?
I don't know.
That's like the ultimate, you know what I mean? Almost like the end all be all sometimes. In this process. So I'm kind of confused on how they end up there. But also, we talking about, sounds like a very, very, let's just call them a rich couple. Sounds like, if you can just elect couples. Oh, it's a lot of people? I thought it was one or two.
It's a number of British
couples. You said it's a luxury to do that.
This stuff ain't cheap. And just the audacity to say, you know what, I'm just going to do this because I'm too busy to do it this way. What? My head hurts.
Well, sweetheart, I don't want your head to hurt. I just want you to stay with me.
Okay.
Fertility ain't fair.
Fertility ain't fair.
Thank you.
Okay. So, a consultant on this article, he's a chief medical officer at a clinic, said that people are having half as much sex as they did 30 years ago. We have a culture that talks about sex all the time.
Society?
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. This chief medical officer from a fertility clinic said this and talked to Daily Mail about this article. He says that we have a culture that talks about sex all the time on TV and magazines, but we don't actually do it. People don't make time because they are too busy, too tired. They have poor work-life balance, and sex starts to look like a chore. Well, welcome to infertility. There's no doubt that some people are opting for IVF simply because sex isn't something that they have to do. Wow. I'm just
like I said, I'm with you. Like it sounds like these marriages have a very, very, very good friendship, because the intimate part really ain't there. So, that's a very, very important part of any relationship. You got to be married for that. You got to be engaged. Like, sexual intercourse is pretty important if you're going to be with someone, I would assume, especially trying to plan a family,
right,
and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. If you guys don't have a schedule now to have sex, the quickest thing you can do out of the whole family component, you know what I'm saying? Like it is like, it could be a minute. Don't have to be that long in order to kind of conceive if you don't have a fertility issue. But then you're going to have a child, which is going to need 24-hour observance and care.
Busy.
Right. But then I understand they might be wealthy and well off, so they might be able to hire nannies and people and stuff like that. So my mind is kind of open to possibilities on why this is happening, but I'm also kind of shocked because it doesn't really make sense, man. If you can't,
it doesn't make sense to me. I just don't know how you get from I'm too busy to have sex to I'm just going to do IVF, as if, like I said, that's a guarantee, or as if it's not a grueling process. Like, it takes time. Like, these people must be disillusioned maybe by what IVF is, as I think a lot of people still are. Like, oh, it's a guarantee. No, it's not. Oh, it's easy. No, it's not. Like, even if you can afford it or not, like, it's still a grueling process, mentally, physically, emotionally, etc. And so, like, yeah, like, if you're too busy to have sex, like, what makes you think this is going to be the better alternative to give you what you're quote unquote wanting? It also goes into detail about other reports saying that people in their late 20s are more likely than in other age groups to have regular sex, but this changes then go to like their 35 to 39-year-old selves, which are least likely to have sex. Okay, well, we're busier. I mean, busier, not too busy, but busier. They're also concerned that Netflix legitimately is destroying love lives. A study
that sounds very, very stupid.
A study by University of Lancaster.
Netflix is destroying relationships.
They're concerned about it. Finding a busy hour between 10 to 11 p.m., people are thought to take their tablets to bed to stream TV shows.
Question. Sidebar. You love me, right?
Yes.
And I love you. Matter of fact, we work in radio and TV most of our lives at this point, most of our professional lives. I can say I love you way more than there's no TV show that could keep me from wanting to be emotionally and intimately interested in my wife. I can't comprehend with this article a little bit from the man's perspective. You feel me? I'm not speaking for the woman. Yeah, I just don't really get how I'm watching Netflix with my wife and we watching all these shows and then we don't have time to kind of get to that. You know, in a culture where, like I said, people joke about that. Like, hey, people wake up and have Netflix and chill or Hulu and chill, however you want to label it. You know, it is kind of a running theme that people kind of joke about in culture nowadays. So it's crazy that they're blaming Netflix for that.
It's insane.
Is that why the stock price dropped a couple weeks ago?
Ding. I don't know. Look, that's where we're at. I mean, that definitely was a WTF article. So the gist of it is that these British couples and who knows where else in the world are saying that we're too busy to have natural sex. We don't have any medical conditions. We haven't been diagnosed as infertile. And we are choosing IVF because we think that's going to be a better route. And so, you know, feel free to reach out to us and give us your thoughts on that because, yeah, WTF.
What the fertility? Yikes.
I also wanted to, I forgot to put it on the prep sheet, but I also wanted to just shout out a boundary breaking bump. I loved this article. So Katrina Scott became the first ever visibly pregnant model to pose for Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue after walking the runway during IVF. I didn't realize she actually had done that. So she's, I think, 38. She was Rookie of the Year in 2021. And so she's like 35 weeks pregnant, her second child, her husband. And so she said she's really wanted to represent all women out there who are creating life, feeling all the feels, and embracing change. And last July, she actually walked the runway during Miami Swim Week in the middle of an IVF cycle following multiple miscarriages. Girl, yikes. I give you bow the fuck down because this belly right here in the IVF cycle, I don't want it in nobody's fashion.
You trying to rip the runway, baby?
No.
You can model in my living room all you want.
That's where I'll be.
I'm gonna buy you some new outfits this summer. You know what?
That's where I'll be.
Yep.
Put this bloat belly out there. Look at her little belly, it's all red thing.
This is on Daily Mail as well?
Yes. But yeah, I just wanted to shout her out because I think it's super dope that one, she, like I said, walked a damn runway in the middle of the IVF cycle. Because as I'm in that situation, I just can't imagine personally doing that, but I love her for doing that. Love that for you. And then, you know, talking about like, just her time. She said, I wasn't ready, swelling, hormones, things happening in my body, like all of these things. And she still did it. I mean, look at her.
That is a good picture.
A bag of money. Where's the bloat?
You sure that's her name?
Listen.
That Photoshop.
Is this day one?
Did they airbrush?
Is this day one?
I'm about to say, they airbrush this. I don't know, babe. Girl,
you look good. Okay. Girl, you look good. But anyway, so, and also for just being open and honest once again about.
I saw some abs in that picture. I don't know, bro.
She had abs. I'm just going to go back to it.
I'm with you. Maybe it's day one.
Damn.
They said she is a professional athlete, so it makes sense why she, you know, she's toned up in there, but.
Damn, girl. Yeah, she has like a six pack and a flat tummy. But you know what? It could have been day one. You never know. Your journey, not mine. But yeah, she wanted to say to all of her IVF warriors that are holding on to hope and praying every single month, like she understands, she's here with us, she gets it. So she's super dope. So Katrina Scott, first visibly pregnant model to pose for SI swimsuit issue. You're super dope. I think I also posted last week, the girl's name is going to escape me, but she was on the cover this coming up maybe of SI swimsuit edition, and she had a her scar from her C-section on there. They had never had that as well. So just shout out to anyone who's in the space of like just showing women in all their body forms. Like, I'm here for it. We appreciate it. That was WTF. Okay, so moving on. Second segment to From IG with Love. I wanted to give a shout out to either a post or an IG page that I'm absolutely loving. And on this episode, I'm going to shout out Dear Mama in Waiting. So on IG, they are Dear_Mama in Waiting. And I've been following them for a little while now.
Dear Mama.
Exactly. Q's
lady.
Right, Q's Tupac.
Dear mama. For all my friends who are not familiar with Tupac out there, that is a Tupac song. So, just got to keep everybody inclusive.
Yes, exactly. Go ahead.
Our non-hip-hop fans, or non-rap fans.
Dear
Look
Mama.
up Tupac Shakur, Dear Mama.
Yes.
Excellent classic song.
A classic. Added into the episode.
Yeah, I'll tell your producer, get on that.
Yeah.
Hey, producer, get on that.
Please do. But this page is all about letters to mamas in waiting. And so literally the entire page is just Dear Mom in Waiting, like fill in the blank. And it just kind of lifts you up when you need it the most. There's just something about people who understand you, who get you, and that you don't even know. So like strangers in this space. And so this is one of those things. You can also submit letters here as well. So if you want to submit a letter to them, for them to go ahead and hopefully repost, please do so. But it's words by those who know all too well we're all on the wrong end of a statistic here. And so shout out to Dear Mama in Waiting. So once again, on Instagram, they are Dear_Mama in Waiting. And yeah, make sure you check them out and follow them because they are super dope and they just get it. The girls that get it. And they do. Now moving on, I know we're moving through, kind of quickly, but this episode really just comes down to us giving y'all the rundown. This is the inside scoop of what's happening in our world on the journey to baby Jackson. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, we have started our first cycle.
Yay.
We're
here.
We here, y'all.
We are here. No. We're going to take, what I'm saying? We recording. Yeah. I know we've talked about it. And, folks, we're going to be a little transparent. Like I said, we, producing, she hosts the show and stuff like that. And we're in the middle of this. But, yeah, we're going to take a minute to be like, we here. We are here.
I know.
I mean, between insurances, between, like, job changes, between so many
the last 5 years of our lives.
You know what I mean? Right. Uncalled for inconveniences beyond our bodies. You know what I'm saying? Just random hurdles that we didn't think would be in the way. And, certain things that we thought would be small steps ended up being big steps. So I know salute to you and your body right now because you are doing most of the work. I feel like, it's NBA playoffs, so I feel like I'm the coach and I'm just watching you and your body parts kind of be,
celebrate the body.
Be the players. You know what I'm saying?
Celebrate the body. Celebrate the body.
Yeah, get it.
I think
you bought a little 20-piece nugget with the sauce.
With the sauce. Extra sauce.
All the sauce. Dripping.
I was chatting with a friend today. She's a friend of Fertility Ain't Fair. She was an OG guest on season 1. And she was checking on me today, like, hey, what's going on? Just checking to see how you're doing. How's it going? She's also an IVF mama. Her baby, when she was on the show, she was still pregnant. We discussed her journey to get to where she was, and her baby now is about 6-7 months.
Who was it?
Lindsay.
It was Lindsay, and she was in the first season, so you might want to go back and check that out.
Yeah,
since
OG
Lindsay checked up on the show.
OG guest
from
Lindsay, season 1. And so she hit me up today via text, and we were chatting for a while. And so I was asking her about, advice on kind of going into the next step, which, prayerfully we'll have our next green light, to do our egg retrieval coming up soon in a couple of days, hopefully. And so, she was just giving me, I think some reconfirmations of some things that I wanted to share on the episode. It just all fell in line perfectly to do this. And so a couple of things that she had told me, I think I mentioned a couple to you earlier, were one, go in with an open mind, and, be excited and proud of yourself no matter the outcome. Because like you said, like we have to celebrate all things. Like I had that thing over there. It says, until further notice, celebrate everything. I've had that sign on our bar cart
for a couple of years now. Since
we were in our apartment. Yeah. Like it's been over 5 years. And so
question. When's the last time you looked at that? Since it's been in your possession through the transition of homes before you even probably found out you had like major fertility issues.
Yeah.
When's the last time you looked at that sign in your house?
I mean, I've looked at it recently because I'll go over and like dust things off, but like I haven't.
Before that, though, Yeah, I know recently.
I haven't really, actually, I just did it now. Like, we're just not celebrating all things and your body, and I just like, oh, that sign's over there. So, yeah, no, it just kind of all clicked just now.
Yeah, so we're going to appreciate that sign a little bit more.
We will.
Yeah, because it's been a constant reminder, it's the beauty. I bring this up because this sign it's in our home where we got to walk to the kitchen. We pass it every day.
Every day.
It's impossible not to pass this little sign. And it's like, 5x7. It's not a very, very large thing.
Yeah.
And I say all that to say because sometimes we walk by these positive affirmations. Sometimes we bypass things because we're so consumed with, negative energy or misfortunes or just frustrations in life. Well, yeah, I'm getting all that. But life doesn't necessarily have to be negative all the time. Life is positive. Yeah, sometimes life can be a positive force. So, I just want to highlight that because somebody else might be dealing with that or have that same situation in their home. They might have a knickknack or something that reminds them of something from years ago that they probably got and will help them kind of, rebalance and like, oh yeah, it's been in front of your face the whole time. I say that we're hitting it during our podcast episode together. We probably bought that before we were married. That's what I'm saying.
I know we did.
Exactly. Now you see where I'm going. Now you see where I'm going. God prepares you.
He does.
He makes you spend $1. So when you got to spend more than that $1 becomes even more paramount and important to you in that day than what it was when you bought it.
Absolutely.
And you are one of those ones that you just buy random stuff. So, folks, she probably bought that on a whim. I'm trying to tell y'all. No. The girl goes to Marshalls and Target like they're her best friends.
Nope. Lies.
Look,
time out, sir. Yeah.
No. Most dudes be like, oh, the Amazon, man, that's the least of my worries. I be worried about the Target and the Marshalls trips.
No.
That's the ones I got to worry about.
No. Hold on, y'all. Break from the show. Pause.
They know her by first name in there.
Pause for the show. First of all, I buy things very intentionally when I go into my shops, okay? That sign was intentionally bought when I bought the bar cart. I bought a gold bar cart. I'm sure some of y'all have them in your house because they're like, it's all the rage and like people still have them. It's adorable. I still love it. But those were the first things we bought like in our old apartment. And I was so hyped to get it. I was on Pinterest for like weeks looking up what I needed for the bar cart, all the accessories, etc. For years, for multiple reasons. But I Pinterest bar carted everything. And then I went to the store and I found like a bunch of stuff all at one time at Marshall's. That sign was part of that haul that they say now. Oh, I got a Target haul or Marshall haul on TikTok. Yeah. An old school haul at that point in time. I got glasses that day, the sign, like all that stuff like came like almost all at one time. So I'm very intentional about what I buy.
And I'm very intentional. I'm intentional what we're doing right now because y'all can't see us, but I got a glass of wine in my hand because we celebrate.
I'm sipping my bubbly, aka sparkling water, because you know what time it is.
Yeah. Until further notice, celebrate everything. We're gonna put a picture of that and put that on the website on the IG page.
Yeah.
I sounded so old that time. We're going to put that on the website, baby girl.
You did. That's giving old man. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So Lindsay and I were chatting earlier. So yeah. But we were talking about like, being really intentional about like, celebrating all the steps. And I knew going into this journey or this part of our process that was going to be really important. Because there are, as many of you know all too well, there are so many little checkpoints that go into this process, right? It's from all the work you do before you start and then that first baseline to get the green light to start, and then every single monitoring appointment, and then finding out how your body's responding or not responding to our meds. So for example, for us, we had our first appointment, all was kind of quiet, which is kind of normal, when you're first starting out your meds. We had our second appointment and the follicles were not really growing as much as they would have liked to see at that point in time. So of course that put me in a space of like doomsday. Oh my God. Like worst case scenario, like doomsday, everything, right? Rabbit hole, like how big should they be at day, whatever, like all these different things. And simply the doctor was like, it's no big deal, like it's how your body responds. Like, once again, do not compare yourself or Don't go down that social media rabbit hole about, where should things be at this time? Like if we tell you it might take 10 to 12 days, that's just an average, but like we go with your body's flow. So no big deal. So we upped our medications, and then over the course of a couple of days, we had some really good growth. So we had a good third appointment. So now hopping into our fourth appointment coming up, we're hoping to see once again that growth that we need to see, hopefully to be able to get a trigger date and then an egg retrieval date. But like it's celebrating all of the mini wins because there are just so many steps. It's not as simple as, oh, I'm going to take these shots, get these eggs, get these embryos, boom, we're pregnant. Like that's not what this is. And I think if anyone is considering it, or you're going to start it or whatever, like just there's so many things that you learn along the way about yourself and how to cope with everything. Like, just don't compare. It's really all about how your body responds and your care team choosing what's the best protocol for you, and just really staying in a positive space.
And also, I want to note this, because sometimes I try to be cognitive of, like myself, I'm a man, so I don't have the female body part. So if you're in my position where you're not the one actually enduring these things, it couldn't even be your relationship. It could be some friends, and if they shared that with you, reach out to them and tell them you're happy for them as well. Because like we've had that, recently as well, for people who understood where we were at. And you send a message out to a lot of our close friends and family, like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing next couple of weeks. We're not trying to be distant, and we're not trying to be, ignoring anyone. It's a new process. So, like I said, like we just said, until further notice, celebrate everything.
Yeah. And to that point, we did. Like
cheers.
Cheers my bubbly, my water. We did. We sent out, I crafted up a note, and I give credit to seeing someone else do that on social media. Like sometime earlier this year, I saw someone had crafted a message and shared it out with people like, hey, this is what we decided to do when we were going through our journey, whatever their protocol was. I forgot if it was IVF or something else, probably IVF. But they shared and said, hey, like, normalize these things happening in conversation, or normalize getting these messages. And so I thought about it. I was like, I'm going to do the same thing. So I crafted something. I showed it to my husband. He was like, okay, cool. Sounds good. And just sent it out to like immediate family, and then a couple of close friends who were already like invested in what we had going on. And basically it just said like, hey, we are very excited to announce that, we got the green light to start our IVF process. This is we're very excited about it, but also, very cautious. And so, we would ask that you all give us grace throughout this time, especially. And basically like, hey, like, please, there's many checkpoints along this journey. So we would ask that you all allow us to give you updates when we're ready, and when we have them, versus asking, because I think it's really important to also remind yourself, like, set those boundaries for your best self. Like for my mental space, for what we have going on.
Yeah, because there's so many
It's so much
factors,
happening.
Just because you started doesn't mean it's going to be successful. And just because you started doesn't mean it could be successful. But, it's just a whole journey. It's a lot of long miles before you get to where where you're going to be at there. So, no, you're right. I'm glad you telling folks to, let people know if you choose to do stuff. Everybody, your body, your choice, dude. Like, your business and all that. Like, I know for me, it was kind of cool. A couple of weeks ago when we first that Friday, I told one of my managers, and he had been kind of informed of our situation over the last year or two, and gave me an afternoon off. So that was kind of cool. Because to hang out a little bit on Friday.
Yeah, it's been good. So I think, like I said, if you are, worried about that, I wouldn't be. If you do want to share with certain people and you do want to, like I said, set the right expectation, I think that's really, really important for your mental and physical health. And just to make sure that you are setting healthy boundaries with people so that, you aren't overwhelmed if someone, keep asking you. And so now people kind of know. So they'll say, hey, like when Lindsay hit me up today, she was like, hey, I know in your message you said, please let us share before I ask. I just want to check in on you. And I was like, hey, no problem. Thank you for acknowledging that. I had someone else hit me up and the same thing, like, hey, I don't want to be a bother, but just wanted to, just wish you, well and give you my prayers. And so I was like, thank you for acknowledging that those are the things that we asked, and for being down with it and, for being on board with how we want to go about our journey. And so, it's been good, but yeah, I think that the main thing that I heard from her today during our text chat was like, celebrate your body, like be happy in the moment, be positive, and just give your body grace and like, just be happy in the fact that you were able to, one, do this process, like financially, physically, mentally, because everyone cannot. And so, just celebrating your body being able to endure, because it's a lot, period. I mean, that's, it's a lot. And it has not been the easiest, mentally to get through. There have it's up and down, as this journey always is. It's so much up and down. Every phone call, every appointment, every, call back you get from the doctor's office, you just don't know which way it's going to go. And so it's definitely still nerve wracking, as it always is. But I did start yoga, which I've never been a yogi for sure. I've never really been a yoga person.
You look like a yogi in the face too.
Shut up. Boo-boo. But I did. I don't know what possessed me. It was just like, hey, like my anxiety is kind of high right now. And I was told that I could not take my anxiety medication.
All right, so I want to pause you right there. I just want you to kind of interject how you ended up here, because I do want to applaud Brittany. In the last 6 months, your workout regimen has truly improved and changed. I even have a schedule where we work out together. We got certain things that we've done, and that was something that had to change the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I mean, and I say that because in our marriage and our friendship and relationship, that was something that I enjoyed. Looking forward to working out with my wife. Whether we go to the gym, go to the park, or do something at the crib, watch some videos and stuff like that. And that's gone now, as far as like, shout out to Juice Toya. We used to use them on the YouTube, shout out Planet Fitness and wherever we used to go. We can't do those things anymore for a little bit, right, temporarily. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you were able to transition, to yoga and find something, because exercise is very, very important, whether you're going through this or not. Yeah. And you had conditioned yourself in your mental and your physical up to this point, to have a consistent regimen. I mean, at some point in time, this girl was working out 2 times a day. I was proud of her. It's almost like she's back to her Howard cheerleader days. Wow.
Not even. But thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. And so it's definitely been a transition. The first week or so, I felt like I could still do something. Then I was like, no, ma'am, no, sir.
And this is, she's taking needles, folks, as you see on the IG page and Facebook page and stuff like that. It's mainly because of that. She's starting to take medication, so that does have side effects.
Oh yeah, so for those who don't know, which I'm sure most of you guys do, but with this, it depends once again on your body, on your meds, on your protocol. It's all different. But for me, myself personally, I have experienced so far.
Yeah, tell them if you had any side effects.
Yeah.
We just talked about someone who did IVF and they were doing a fashion show. So,
listen.
Clearly,
that was not me.
That ain't going to be you, dog.
Not me. It's not me. But God bless her. Bruh. bless your heart. So my I guess top side effects for the last 2 weeks have been headaches here and there, but not too crazy. The first thing I felt was fatigue, and that settled in very soon after we started, and that lasted a couple days. And then I was kind of good. And then in the last couple days, I have been exhausted, well rested and still exhausted. Definitely after we doubled our medications, I was like, ooh, fatigue is back. It's coming back in. So I've been doing my very best to keep myself from dozing off in the workday. But fatigue. And then of course, now we're at the point where the follicles are growing and, they're getting real juicy. So, you are bloated, or I am definitely bloated. I am uncomfortable. I feel full. Lots of extra trips to the bathroom. And it's really,
well, you can tell me that.
Yeah, lots of extra to the bathroom,
Blowing
like
down
my
while I ain't
bladder.
here,
No, my bladder is
I'm
just
sorry.
full.
I'm joking.
And I just feel like
I'm joking.
it sounds like things that mimic like when you're pregnant, so it's also like annoying on some level because it's like these are the things that we hear. Like I'm going to the bathroom, my stomach's upset, like I'm bloated or I'm with child. Either way, whatever. You just feel your abdomen and your belly is just at capacity. It feels like.
And folks, I want to add context to this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just taking up for you because of my wife, but I really care about you've been through. A month ago, we were dealing with you missing 2 periods back to back, and the anxiety. 1 period, I'm sorry, but the anxiety of that though, like, could this be it? Like we're about to pay, go through IVF, and oh my gosh, you finally missed a period for once in your life. Well, I'm just saying that's a very, very, very rare.
It's rare for me.
Yeah, and now you're going through, like you said, you're experiencing these symptoms when you look them up. Right. It's almost like you're pregnant and you're not, though. Right. So I don't want to tell people that as you're going through that because that could trigger a lot of, you may be. I'll give you're holding it together, but someone else, everyone's different. So, we just want to, let our fertility and fair followers know just in case they're going through that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys know it's a mind trick a lot of times, but
one day at a time, like you told me.
One day at a time.
The best advice you ever gave me too.
That's it.
Yeah.
One day at a time, one appointment at a time, one phone call at a time. Like that's all we can do, people.
And I want to emphasize that, folks. Like I'm a forward thinker. I'm always like projecting and thinking about the future. We're always appreciating where we're at because we work to get to where we're at today at some point in time. And years ago, you told me that, like, hey, one day at a time. And as simple as that sounds, yeah, because if you seize the day, there's so much you can do in a day. If you take it one day at a time, it can ease your anxiety if you're focused on duties. Or if you're going through a rough day, kind of just take that day to, hey, maybe had a rough one, try to decompress or try to de-stress and figure out ways you can do that. And if you don't, or if you're unable to de-stress that day, figure out ways how you can do that so you don't replicate that day again down the line. So you don't have those days back to back to back to back to back,
Yep. Totally agree.
And it ain't all on you, ladies, fellas, or partners.
Yes.
Help them out. I don't know how I'm doing. You didn't give me a report card this month, so.
You've been great. You've been helping.
I just wanted to get that on tape, y'all.
Anyway.
Just wanted to get that on tape.
He's been great. He has been every day. I think you missed one day, but I gave you the pass on that one, like, to work out. He has been right here at our dining room table with all of our meds laid out, looking like a hospital room. He has been right next to me, opening stuff and whatever I allow him to do as helping me get the air bubbles out of my syringes and helping me administer my shots. And so, absolutely like the ability to have a support system in-house and to have a partner who is just like, hey, whatever we gotta do, let's do it. Let's go. You ready? It's great. So I definitely appreciate you and love you and thank you.
I appreciate you,
my dear.
Appreciating you is an understatement, girl.
But you mentioned the word forward, and so it's my word of the year. Did you know that? Forward.
Girl.
It's my word of the year. It's been forward, and so it's all about just like progress. That's it. Like not perfection, like not what you thought it was gonna be, not expectation. Like no, just like forward. Like what is the move forward? And so I just feel like that is literally what we're doing every single day. Just if it's forward momentum, it's a go. It's a good thing. So happy for that. And that's our rundown for this episode. Send us all of your baby dust, all of your prayers, positive thoughts, messages on Instagram for our next monitoring appointment. And hopefully we will have an update on social with our date for our egg retrieval and how that stuff goes, you guys. So like I said, we are internally just blessed and grateful to just be here and be able to do it. I know it's not something that everyone can do and jump into. So we're just happy to be here. So we hear y'all.
Big wheels keep rolling, baby.
That's it. So wrapping up. So be in the know. So did you know that May 28th is Menstrual Hygiene Day? I did not know this literally until a month or two ago, and it actually came up at work. We were working on some ideas for I won't use their name because they ain't pay me no monies on Facility Ain't Fair, but working on a marketing ideas for one of the major feminine hygiene companies, let's say, in the world. And so they had this listed as one of their key timing, like marketing dates. And I was like, how have I never heard of this? Never seen it, never heard about it. Wow. So check it out, menstrualhygieneday.org. And it is on May 28th. And so this organization and nonprofit, their team works year round, obviously outside of just the date, to do a couple things, to break taboos and end stigma around menstruation, to raise awareness about the challenges regarding access to menstrual products, education about menstruation and period-friendly sanitation facilities, and to mobilize and get funding for different organizations. And so their whole goal is to build a world where no one is held back because they menstruate by 2030. So we got 8 more years to get the job done, because it's crazy to me that still in this day and age, like, you know, girls starting their periods, it's like, it's shameful and it's guilt. And we will do a whole episode. I have it already laid out in my brain. I want to do a whole episode or discussion around periods and just how there's just so much negative stigma still attached to them, because it's crazy as hell. Like, we are, you know, we were put on this earth, if you were born female, to, you know, have a cycle, and it's natural, and it should not be negative and shameful and guilt ridden, and you shouldn't be, you know, hiding your stuff and, oh my God, I can't let anyone know. We all bleed until we don't. So like, you know, well, on this side of the gender coin, we all bleed over here, but, yeah, but I just wanted to bring that to our awareness. I'll definitely be on social, you know, on that day, you know, I mean, we'll see, like, if our egg retrieval that day, then I might not. I might be a little bit late. But anyway, I have like a post ready to roll for Menstrual Hygiene Day on May 28th. So I think we could all do our, you know, our due diligence and our due just for young women, just to make sure that they are supported and that having a period is a positive experience, which is possible, and for them to be educated on what this actually is. Because I want to do a whole episode really around like the phases of your cycle and what that means and what each phase means, because we just don't talk about those things. Like, we kind of grew up, I know for most of us, like, you're either on your period or you're not. But in reality, there's something happening at every phase of that cycle that interacts with your body differently or brings different hormones to your life or whatever the case may be. And there's a purpose for all of these things. You're not just on your period or not. Like, there's a purpose for all of these things in the body. That's like a natural system that, you know, in theory, we don't have to do anything to. It's naturally built in our bodies to make things work. So, periods are really powerful. They can, of course, they can bring, you know, help you to bring or conceive life and all kinds of different things and cleanse your body and yada, yada. So more on that on another episode, but Menstrual Hygiene Day, May 28th, and definitely make sure that you're checking out what type of products you're using. We're also going to do an episode about skincare and fertility. Oh my God, you guys.
2 weeks ago.
We mentioned it on the last episode, but I forgot the name. The name is Not So Pretty. It's on HBO Max. I think it's like a 4-part or so, like, mini documentary series, but we watched specifically the episode on skincare. So it's all about, so it's like beauty, skincare, hair care, and something else. And so it's talking about all the not so pretty details or side effects or consequences of our everyday, like, beauty, skincare, hair care products. Y'all.
Hey, yeah, we need to put that out there because they're setting us up.
When I tell y'all,
there's a lot of stuff that we using in your food,
every day,
in your everyday grocery aisles. Man,
at Walmart, at Target, at Sephora, at anywhere, that we have been either putting on our skin or our body or our hair probably for years in small doses, that has the ability to affect your entire endocrine and reproductive system, y'all. Like, and this is male and females.
Yeah, it ain't just...
It's not just for women. Yeah. Like, of course, that was a big part of it, obviously, but there was a whole, and you guys, please watch it if you can, or steal someone's password for HBO Max, because it's life-changing and also terrifying. that the majority of big beauty brands like don't have in America. That is, we learned that as well. There's different rules. And America's are the most lenient, of course.
Of course we are.
Because America proves again why it's garbage. And how capitalism is over everything, including our own personal health, which we all probably knew, but it's when it's putting your face like that, it's like, damn, God, we're so trash.
Well, that and shady lawmakers too.
Yeah,
you know
all
what I'm
of
saying?
it.
Because
Money.
Because my opinion on it. If there were more women who were in politics and more, in these older positions, not to say this women's fault they're not there. I'm just saying, like, these things have been put in before we were born. Right. Both of us born in the 80s, so it's like, hey, when it was kind of just the man's world, white man's world, of course. You know what I'm saying? They kind of put it this way because they're not really dealing with any of these side effects. No. So, hopefully, we can help spread the narrative and kind of change some of that and put out some positive and healthy products that doesn't affect, your fertility or any other health elements just from using body wash and your daily facial wash, bro. Like, oh my God. Just a little simple stuff. 5 minutes could ruin a lot in your system.
Years online. And so just be prepared if you do watch it to have a trash bag ready to go on all of your products. Now, maybe you are one of the very few of us who are like, nope, I've already detoxed my home. I don't use toxins. I don't use things with parabens. I don't use phthalates, perfume. I don't, maybe you read every ingredient on all your products and God bless you if you do.
It's funny. Remember I was saying I was training a young dude today at work and he's like 24, 25. And just on the sidebar, we were just talking. I was like, hey, man, you got to watch the cologne that you use because they're not allowed to tell you what they put in it. I said, it could be something to make you sterile. And I said, you're definitely not trying to think about having kids now, but 10 years from now, when you get 34, say you use this cologne every single day.
No sperm.
I said, there's like 4,000 days between now and the next 8 years that you're rubbing all this in your pores and your skin. And you're ruining your chance to have children. You're not even thinking about it. They don't even tell you.
Not even tell you.
Because the law says you can't disclose what's in a perfume or cologne.
Because they're quote unquote trade secrets.
Yeah, it's trade secrets.
So you could label. So if you look on the back of a lot of bottles, they have, if it says fragrance or perfume, that's the catch-all for any and all ingredients that could go into what that actually is, but they don't have to label it. So one of the big takeaways, we won't spoil it all because we're actually going to do an episode about this. Takeaways was like, hey, make sure that if you look on the back of a bottle and it says either perfume or fragrance, put it back. Don't even do it. Don't get it because more than likely there's something toxic within the however many ingredients that go into that quote unquote perfume or fragrance that they do not have to disclose because it's quote unquote a trade secret or a beauty trade secret.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that more.
Yeah, we're gonna dive in that, John, because it was a lot.
Yeah, because after I do my thing, get my my sample and stuff, and I can talk more about my journey and give some advice or hopefully some learning experience to the fellas on their side of things.
On the swimmies.
Yeah, on the swimmies. Swim soldiers, as I call them.
Yes. But yeah, I think that about does it for us for this episode. One thing, I'm going to go ahead and plug what we got going on. So, I have been journaling, this entire time. When did I start? Let me actually open it up. I started on January, like literally right after top of the year, starting our IVF journey. And this whole notebook is dedicated towards that. And it is none other than the My Fertility Ain't Fair journal, which is available on Amazon right now. I've been using it for every call, every appointment, every update, and just sometimes to journal my feelings and my thoughts along this process. And so it has just been a really amazing, just reflections that I can have and keep. And, prayerfully one day I will be able to show that to our child, and say, hey, look where we started, journaling about our process and here we are now. So, check it out on Amazon. Just type in My Fertility Ain't Fair journal, and go ahead and get you one for whatever you need it for. It doesn't have to be for IVF. It could be for any and all things, but It is available on Amazon. And then, of course, on social media, follow us at Fertility Ain't Fair on IG and Facebook. And y'all, I am extremely excited because the next episode, we are going to be celebrating our 1 year podcast anniversary.
Yeah.
Like,
Woo!
what?
Look at that.
Like, woo!
Hey, y'all, this girl used to be so scared. I'm just venting your personal things that you scared, ashamed, confused, frustrated, all those things that you felt before you thought of your beautiful and very, very on point name of your organization. I'm gonna call it, Fertility Ain't Fair. I'm just saying, like, to go from thinking about, hey, I think I'm gonna do this first episode to now, like, you're a year into a couple of seasons. So now I'm extremely proud of you, man. Holy smokes. God, I would say other words, but I'm trying to keep it clean. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep it PG-13. I'll let you be the one that cuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be good for you. But yeah, I'm gonna throw rose petals at you, not rice. We have a good joking spirit between each other, but now I'm gonna definitely keep it positive because, seeing you grow and what this has turned into, what this has done for other people, other couples, for ourselves and for us. And it's been a little money maker too. So I'm, kind of happy about that.
Always.
I'm just saying, hey, most sponsors, hey, just let them know. You got people listening and watching.
Hey, if you want to sponsor,
we work in advertising,
Fertility Ain't Fair.
If you want to sponsor Fertility Ain't Fair, we talking about women's health and endo and what else? All kinds of stuff. Things. Yeah, this is a good place to kind of like hone in if you want to catch some good viewership and some good listenership into your business. So I'm gonna plug that out here because we work in advertising. That's what we do. Hey. And this ain't no real comical situation where we're making people laugh all the time. We're keeping people in tune, informed, man. News you can use, stats and facts, man. I say we're throwing rose petals, not rice, baby.
Yeah. Yes. If you want to sponsor Fertility Ain't Fair, let me know. But
to other ones, Sign on the Fit. We have had some in the past. So
we have. Yeah, you guys. So I'm super excited to have, again, a couple of the OGs from season 1, 2 of my favorite people who have popped on here in this episode and in my life will be hopping on to co-host that episode. So until next time, we appreciate you guys, all the good words, good advice, good vibes, positive thoughts. Keep us in your prayers, and we will talk to you on the next episode of Fertility Ain't Fair. Until next time, stay hopeful.